here, we use this as the red berries in the Christmas wreaths made with native plants. Okay, so we're moving on down, we're into shrubs. Lemonade berry, not, yeah, okay, so we, on the list is lemonade berry, roots integrifolia, but they're too small in containers to bring in right now. But it's a common shrub from the coastal sage shrub community, local, right in these hills right here. There's a hedge of it that we can show you on the other side of the bridge later on. Coffee berry has no relation to coffee, but it does have berries that must look like coffee, again, to somebody, because the thing with common names is toyon, coffee berry, cherry, you know. My friend, a botanist called Fred Sproul, a good guy in San Diego, is quoted as saying, "Every common name is correct." I love that, because you know, you can call it whatever you want. That, you know, white oak. You know, there's 1,000 uses for the word white oak. Black oak, red oak. You know, it doesn't make any distinction. White oak can mean so many things. Coffee berry, common names. They stick, and we use them. But that's why we have botanical names, because in one area of the country, something can be called one thing, and in another area, something different. For instance, there's a feud between California and Oregon on the name, the common name for Umbellularia californica. Thank God the species epithet says Californica, which tells it it's from here. This is the California Bay, or the California Bay laurel, Umbellularia californica. Well, in Oregon, I mean, as soon as you cross the border, it's called myrtle.
Oh.
Yeah, myrtlewood. Myrtlewood, not California Bay. Myrtlewood. I mean, and so there's this feud on the common name. They can call it myrtlewood all they want. It's still California Bay.
Are bay leaves scented?
Yes,
Like a
yes.
bay leaf?
They are like a bay leaf. You can use it in cooking, same thing. Okay, so coffee berry there are many varieties available as well as the species. This one is called Eve Case. It was selected for its habit and for its beautiful foliage. But as a general rule, coffee berry get about head high, and the reason why they're grown is mainly for the foliage and their berries. The flowers are very inconspicuous down in here. You don't grow it for the flowers, but the berries that follow the flowers can be quite attractive, starting green and going to red and then turning into a dark purple blackish color. The birds love them. The foliage is green, they're tight and clean. They do require a good drainage. You don't want to plant coffee berry in heavy soils where there'll be waterlogged. Okay, Matilaha poppy is the princess of the California flora. It's a beautiful white. Usually it's on the cover of something. Well, if you went into the bookstore, you could find this as a cover or a centerfold, because it's the princess of California's flowers. It has the poppy style flower, which is about this big. I'm like a fisherman. This big, I'm not kidding. They're about 3 inches across, a little bigger, and with a yellow center. One goofy common name for this plant is fried eggplant, but the real common name is Matilaha poppy, and the one that we grow for sale is one called White Cloud, which is dependably lower overall, because some of the species individuals get quite high, and the flowers are always bigger than the ones you see out in the hills, and the foliage is a little tidier and tighter and greener. So White Cloud is the one to grow in the garden. That's what this one is. And it flowers in May or so, May and June, April, May, June, May mainly. Just abundant white flowers up on the ends of the stalks. It can be cut back to the ground, or just above the ground level, about once a year. You can leave it, if it's filling a nice niche and you don't feel like trimming it back, you can leave it a second year. It'll shoot up new and be fresh and vigorous the second year. But after a couple years, if not every year, and we do it every year, it needs to be cut back to the ground. So it's a perennial in that sense. And it spreads by underground roots. We once wrote an article a long time ago, how to hold up your bank, and we used Matilaha poppy as the plant for that. And because of its network of underground roots, it knits the soil together. That network of underground roots can be somewhat of a problem if you have a small area and you want to keep Matilaha poppy contained. Good luck, because it might just run out and sprout up, 10 feet away from where you planted it. or go. I've seen it go under a driveway and come up on the other side. I've seen it come up in a crack in a guy's garage 20 feet away from where he planted it. It ran under the driveway and found a spot. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so you need a little room for it. I have it in my own garden. It's a very small garden, but I just put it in the corner. And if it just starts to get out of hand, you just scold it. You know, get back where you belong.
How high will that grow each year?
Pardon?
If you cut it back each year.
It comes back to about this height.
About that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the flowers are sometimes right up here about eye level. Manzanita medium, we have Sunset, we have Howard McMinn, which we talked about, and Lewis Edmonds. These are just a few varieties of Manzanita. There are many that are about within the 4-foot range by 4-foot spread, and they're also grown for their winter flowers, a clean green look. And the thing with the shrubby Manzanitas, because the names are so hard to decipher, I mean, from the name Howard McMinn, you wouldn't know anything about how the plant grows. So you have to research it a little bit. But the numerous Manzanita, that's why we divided it up, tall, medium, low. And the same with Ceanothus. And if you start there, and then you start asking, okay, you know, pink flowers, white flowers, low, large leaves, little leaves, you start sort of basing it on some criteria, you can easily come up with the right plant. Ceanothus on medium, we're in here at Joyce Coulter. We had Ray Hartman as a tall, now as a medium. It's nice doing this talk in March when you have flowers on the Ceanothus. Okay, so this is a standard called, is this Joyce Coulter or Concha? Yeah, this is Concha. And named after a woman called Consuelo Concha. And this one is about a 5-foot shrub by about 6-foot spread. And very, very dense. Just when it's healthy and happy, it's just covered with blue flowers. Has a mound of blue flowers in the spring. And another one that photographs really well. So I'll bet they got it in here. There's Yankicorn. Yeah, well, very close enough.
Do you just let this grow or do you cut it back also?
You let it grow. Here's Ceanothus Concha. I knew it. I knew it. They'd have a picture of it. You can pass that around. It's just a mound of blue flowers. The way to prune Ceanothus would be to copy the way nature gets it pruned. It's deer. The one common name for many of the Ceanothus is buckbrush, and the deer browse Ceanothus. It's one of their favorites. So if you want to contain a Ceanothus or do any kind of pruning after it flowers, you would just cut back the tips, not into the shape of a battleship or anything, you know. But you could, you know, topiary on Ceanothus is a bit much. But you can shape it and do your thing, but by pretending you're a deer, hungry deer. Do we have another medium Ceanothus? No. Okay. So that's Concha, which is not on the list here, but it's a classic medium. Looks like Joyce Coulter, Dark Scarlet Skylight. California Grape, another one that's deciduous right now. The best example of Rogers Red California Grape is growing on the trellis there at the roundhouse. And this makes a wonderful addition to any garden where you want something to climb up into the patio cover or something like that. Sage, another one. There's a whole table of sages out there at the nursery. And the sage in general are fast-growing, semi-hard branched, you know, sub-shrubs, 3 feet tall. There are many, many hybrids, many varieties, all, I think, too many. Yeah. All right, foothill penstemon, do we have? No? Too small right now in pots. The penstemon are, I'll show you one, it's not the species. It's on the list. But they're basically perennial plants that have beautiful tubular flowers. Red, magenta, purple are the most common colors, and great for attracting hummingbirds. Again, that tubular flower is what does it for hummingbirds. And they're good near boulders,